The courthouse hallway buzzed with the low, restless energy of people who just wanted to be done and get back to their lives. Traffic court days were always like this, long benches packed shoulder to shoulder, the air thick with impatience, the occasional nervous laugh, the scrape of shoes against tile. No one expected anything memorable to happen here. These hearings were about parking tickets, expired tags, rolling stops. Minor things. Forgettable things. That was exactly why Elena Brooks blended in so easily. She stood near the back of the courtroom, calm and composed, holding a slim leather briefcase at her side. At 52, she carried herself with quiet confidence, the kind that came not from needing attention, but from never needing to prove anything at all. Her navy pantsuit was tailored but understated. Her hair was pulled into a neat low bun. No jewelry beyond a simple watch. To everyone else, she looked like another citizen waiting her turn. No one, absolutely no one, suspected who she really was. At precisely 9 a.m., the bailiff called the room to order. All rise. Judge Malcolm Reardon entered from the side door and took his seat behind the bench. He was 65, with decades on the bench and a reputation that preceded him. Efficient. Stern. Impatient. He believed firmly in keeping the docket moving, and he had little tolerance for what he considered theatrics. Once seated, he scanned the room briefly before looking down at the stack of files in front of him. "Let's get started," he said flatly. Cases moved quickly. A speeding ticket, guilty plea. An expired registration, fine reduced. A missed court date, stern warning. Elena watched quietly, observing the rhythm of the courtroom. She had seen countless courtrooms in her life, from the inside and the outside. She knew the tempo, the unspoken rules, the way power moved through a room. When her case was finally called, Brooks versus City, she stepped forward smoothly. Judge Reardon barely looked up. "This is a parking citation," he said, flipping through the file. $75. "What's the issue?" Elena spoke evenly. "Your Honor, I'm contesting the citation. The signage indicating restricted parking was obstructed at the time. I have photographs and a statement from a nearby business owner." Reardon sighed audibly. "For a parking ticket," he said, glancing up now with visible irritation. "Ma'am, people are waiting. You could have paid this and moved on." "I understand," Elena replied. "But I believe the citation was issued unfairly." The judge leaned back slightly, his expression tightening. "This court isn't here for unnecessary arguments," he said. "You don't need to turn this into something it isn't." A few people in the gallery shifted. One man let out a quiet chuckle. Elena remained calm. "With respect, Your Honor, I'm only asking to present evidence." Reardon's patience thinned. "Evidence," he repeated. "For a parking space? This isn't a high court. You don't belong here dragging things out like this." The words landed heavier than he seemed to realize. The room went still. The bailiff glanced toward the bench, then back at Elena. A woman in the gallery frowned. Elena did not raise her voice. "Your Honor," she said gently, "this is the appropriate court, and I have every right to be heard." Reardon's jaw tightened. "Ma'am," he said sharply, "you are not represented by counsel, and this is traffic court. Sit down, or I'll move on to the next case." For a moment, it seemed like that would be the end of it. Then Elena opened her briefcase. She did it slowly, deliberately, not for drama, but because she understood the weight of what she was about to reveal. From inside, she removed a small credentials folder and stepped closer to the bench. "Your Honor," she said clearly, her voice steady, "my name is Elena Marie Brooks." She opened the folder. "I currently serve as the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court." The effect was immediate. Judge Reardon froze. The color drained from his face as if someone had pulled a plug. His eyes widened, locked on the credentials now resting on the edge of the bench. The courtroom, moments ago restless and bored, went completely silent. Even the air seemed to stop moving. "I appear today," Elena continued calmly, "not in my official capacity, but as a private citizen. This citation was issued to my daughter's vehicle while she was visiting this city. I chose to appear personally to avoid any suggestion of special treatment." Reardon swallowed hard. The Chief Justice, I didn't realize." Elena raised a hand gently. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone," she said. "But I will not be dismissed or mocked for exercising a basic legal right." The judge's voice trembled. "You have my sincerest apology. I spoke out of turn. Murmurs rippled through the gallery now, no longer restrained. Someone near the back whispered, "Did she say Chief Justice?" Elena nodded once. Apology accepted. She slid her photographs forward. "May I present my evidence?" Reardon straightened in his chair, suddenly all formality. "Of course," he said quickly. "Please proceed." Elena explained the situation concisely. The sign indicating restricted parking had been partially hidden behind construction barriers. Her photographs showed the obstruction clearly. The written statement confirmed it. Reardon barely needed a moment. "The citation is dismissed," he said. "All associated fees are waived." He struck the gavel. Case dismissed. As Elena gathered her papers, the judge stood, a rare gesture in traffic court. "This court will take a brief recess," he said. "Out of respect." By the time Elena exited the building, the story had already begun to spread. A short video, captured discreetly on a phone, found its way online. It didn't show the entire exchange, but it showed enough: the judge's dismissive tone, the reveal, the stunned silence. Within hours, it was everywhere. Headlines followed. Judge dismisses woman, then learns who she is. Courtroom moment sparks conversation about respect. Elena declined interviews, issuing only a brief written statement. Courts exist to serve the public. Respect and due process are not optional, they are fundamental. The courthouse administration responded swiftly. A formal apology was issued. Mandatory training sessions were announced for courtroom staff and judges alike. Judge Reardon released his own statement the following day. "I failed to uphold the standard of respect expected of the bench. I take full responsibility." Months later, he stepped down. The incident became a case study at judicial conferences, not because of the reveal, but because of what came before it: the assumption, the dismissal, the casual misuse of authority. Years passed. At a statewide legal symposium, Elena spotted a familiar face across the room. Reardon approached slowly, no longer wearing a robe, his posture humbler. "I learned something that day," he said quietly. "Something it took me too long to see." Elena smiled. "Learning is never too late." They shook hands. The story faded from headlines, but the lesson endured. Power does not announce itself. Respect should never depend on who someone turns out to be. And justice, real justice, begins the moment we listen. If you were in that courtroom, what would you have done? Share your thoughts below, and remember, treat everyone with dignity. Because you never know who's standing before you.